Chapter 1 Pilot. To the average person, it may seem like a man and a teenager were just taking a stroll down the street, and on the surface, that is exactly what it was. But if one knew why they were walking, they would know that it was deeper. In reality, the two were looking for something, but that something wasn't known to either of them, and the people who were looking for it were in fact two very important people. The man had tan skin, a well-defined face with black and yellow hair. He was also wearing a stylish black suit. The boy, on the other hand, had a pale complexion, spiky silver hair that many would think came straight out of a delinquent manga. His clothes consisted of a black punk-style jacket over a white shirt and black pants that weren't quite skinny jeans but were far from sweatpants. The reason they were important, you may ask. Well, it was nothing much. The man was just the leader of the fallen angles and the only 12-winged fallen angle in 450,000 years, and the boy was only the descendant of one of the houses of one of the old leaders of the devil race, as well as having the sacred gear of one of the strongest creatures known to the supernatural world. So all in all, they were nothing special, but who they are doesn't matter right now. What matters is the reason that they were there. It was because the man, Azazel, had sensed a familiar energy, one that had reminded him of an old friend of his, and out of boredom and curiosity had decided to check it out. But the boy, Valley, in fact did not know why he was here. He was just relaxing in his apartment when a portal opened and a hand came through, dragging him into it. The only reason he didn't cut the arm off was because it had happened several times before. Azazel always said it was worth it, but oftentimes it wasn't. He was pretty sure it was cause Azazel liked to annoy him. So here they were walking down the street looking for what, they still didn't know. Dang it, Azazel, what are we looking for? And don't you dare tell me it'll be worth it. Don't worry, Valley, it'll be worth it. Valley was seriously considering killing the man when Azazel suddenly stopped. Valley was surprised and was going to ask what was wrong when Azazel suddenly went into an alley a couple steps ahead. Hey, where are you going? Valley exclaimed, quickly following him. When Valley got to the alley, Azazel was crouched over a boy. The boy in question had blonde hair with red tints on the tips of his hair. His shirt was torn and dirty. His face wasn't much better. Valley was dragged out of his observations when Azazel started talking. Well, Valley, I found it. Chapter 2 New Hire. Sato Manji was a man who many would consider serious, a man that had worked for everything in his life and had achieved more. But he was by no means arrogant. The truth was, out of the 200 employees he had working at his 5 establishments, he had personally interviewed 187 of them, and the 12 he had not interviewed had been recommended by people he trusted. But there was one that he had not interviewed nor had recommended. At the time the new employee showed, he was on a business trip in the U.S., so the manager at the store had to, and by the time Sato had gotten back to the store that had gotten the new hire, Sato's sweet shop, he was not expecting what he saw. What he saw, you ask? Well, what he saw was pandemonium. Almost all of his most popular items were completely sold out, but he saw that the price had been cut in half. His other items were either on shelves that they were not supposed to be on, or strung out on the floor, which to Sato was a personal problem, not just for him, but for his employees. Sato was just about ready to fire everyone when his manager ran up to him in a very frantic manner. Thank Kami you're here, please save us from this devil. Sato was just about to ask what he meant when his assistant manager walked into his line of sight. He looked like someone who had not slept in a couple of days. Sato was going to call out to him when he suddenly looked in his direction. The assistant manager looked relieved for a second when suddenly he was blasted by orange paint with such force that it knocked him out. Sato was not only a serious man, but a man who liked to know what was going on, mainly what was going on with his businesses, and right now he did not know what was going, nor did he like it, so finally Sato asked the big question, Kevin, the manager, what is going on? It started when the new hire started, and everything was fine at first, but then Jim, an employee, had challenged him, the new hire, to who could sell more stock on a week, and when Jim lost he tried to prank him, then Kevin let out a shudder. It all went downhill from there. Sato then had described to him a prank war that was unexpectedly close to what one might see in an anime. Had heard enough. While whoever did this wouldn't be fired, it was clear they needed some straightening out, so without hesitation Sato walked into the store. Chapter 2.5 New Hire, Naruto's POV. Naruto needed money, and he needed some now. Ever since he was 13 he had been getting a steady stream of income from Azazel. But now that he was 17 his monthly income had suddenly stopped. Instead, he got a letter basically telling him that he was on his own, and Naruto would have been okay except for the fact that Azazel had said nothing about cutting him off beforehand, and Naruto often made poor financial decisions. It was nothing big, but Naruto had some stuff that he most certainly did not need. So now we find our blonde-haired idiot on a computer in the library, scrolling forums looking for a job. It took a while, but he finally found a job that paid relatively well and didn't require any knowledge beforehand. It said they would actually teach you at the workplace, and while the time it took you to learn it wouldn't be paid, if you took to it well and did good at it, an amount of money would be added to your set salary. If you do better, you get paid more, you just don't get the promotion, but if you get a promotion your set salary would increase, but if you didn't improve the amount of money that's added to your set amount wouldn't change. Needless to say, Naruto took the job. 1 week later. Naruto was not having a good day. It turned out that he wouldn't go straight into making sweets, which was what Naruto expected. Instead, he was passing out flyers in the sun with no shade. It turned out that his new place of work, Sato's Sweet Shop, was the owner's newest business and was therefore in need of commercialization. Something that would actually help was that the owner usually could be found at his new business. But Naruto had discovered that the owner had been on a business trip, but would be back in less than 3 weeks. But as a result of the owner's absence, Naruto, being the new blood, was forced to hand out flyers, while his co-workers got to be in the air-conditioned store. Speaking of his co-workers, most of them were fine and could get along with him easily enough, but there was one person he just didn't like. That piece of crap Jim. Ever since Naruto had started working at the street shop, Jim had been a thorn in his side. Naruto suspected that it was because that Jim was the second newest member, and was Naruto's senior by 2 months. And the fact that before Naruto got there he was the person handing out the flyers, he was sure Jim just liked inflicting his pain on others, and Naruto was the only one that Jim could inflict that pain upon, being his only junior. So here he was, under the torment of the hot sun, passing out flyers until he heard a voice. "Hey Naruto, it's break time." Turning around, Naruto saw it was the assistant manager Bashi. "Alright," said Naruto, inwardly thanking Kami. When he got inside, he immediately felt the change in temperature, and was loving it until. "So Flyer Boy, how's it going?" It was Jim, someone that, if you didn't know, Naruto wasn't a fan of. "It was great. I think I only got second-degree burns this time," Naruto said sarcastically. Good. Well, I was on the call desk and scored a crazy big order." "Oh? Well, good for you, Jim. You'll get a promotion in no time," Naruto said flatly. I think it might be the biggest order the store's ever gotten." "Wow, yup. If only you weren't stuck passing out flyers." A tick mark appeared on Naruto's forehead. "Well, you know, if they had me in the store we'd run out of stock too quickly," he said. "Oh yeah. Well, if that's true, then how about you and me have a competition? Whoever sells more stock this week will win, and whoever loses is on flyer duty till the owner gets back." You're on. 3 weeks later. Naruto was having a good day. He had won the competition pretty easily. All he did was half the prices of their most popular items when he was on register, and double the prices when Jim was on register. It was actually really funny. Jim would watch him sell a lot of items, then when it was his turn, he would sell almost nothing, and Naruto made sure to make sign that said everything half off when it was his turn to be on register. Needless to say, that was a good day for Naruto, but it was only after that the real fun began. It started the day after Naruto had won the bet. He was going into the break room when he noticed something weird about the door, specifically its shadow. The weird thing was a shadow of a half circle that would normally not be there, so carefully Naruto stepped towards the door. Then when he was close enough to the door that he could see the top of the door, it was a bucket that when Naruto took it off the top of the door could see what was inside. He found that it was full of pink paint, and on the bucket was a message in Sharpie that said, "From you best friend Jim." It didn't take a genius to realize that Jim did not like being on flyer duty. After that day, a prank war of great proportions started. At first it was only Naruto's Jim, with Jim often losing, so, in an act of desperation, Jim had asked Kevin, Bashi, and the other employees to help him prank Naruto. It didn't help much in terms of pranking Naruto, but it did help Jim stop himself from getting pranked. Keyword on help, not prevent. Oftentimes the pranks none of them saw were usually the most devastating. It even got to the point where the regular employees couldn't come to work, leaving only the managers to clean up the mess. But the thing was that the managers had stopped helping Jim a while ago, but it didn't save them from getting pranked. As a result, they only had one chance left. They had to fire either Naruto or Jim, but the release papers were in Kevin's office, or now known as Naruto's main base. So, for the rest of the week, that was what Kevin and Bashi tried to do. They failed many times and had not gotten much closer. They could only hope that when Sato got back he could fix everything, and hopefully not fire them.